Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a royale review for Girlfriends, Season 1, Episode 4. I know it's been a while, honey. I know it's been a while, but I'm back at it again with the jump off, okay? Now, the name of this episode is Hip-Ocracy. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the specificities of this episode. We kick off the episode at the office, Joan's office, that is. And she's walking out into Maya's space. Y'all know Maya is her assistant. And she sit right outside Joan's main office door. But Joan walks out to her desk and tells Maya that she need her to type up some notes because she's going to be taking off early or whatever because she got some plans. Maya's like, sniff, sniff, smells like a date. A lunch date, to be exact. And William overhears it, knows itself, comes out around the corner and is like, oh, Joan on a date? Ain't that one of the first signs of the apocalypse? And Joan snapped back like, let's not talk like I don't never go on no dates, honey. And Maya tell her, it ain't no acting, baby. It's the realities of the world, your world, that is. And William clapped back and he said, okay, so where you meet this man? On your way to work? Church? What is it giving? And Maya like, go ahead, spill the beans, because I ain't never met this man. Where he come from? Who is he? And Joan says, okay, it's kind of embarrassing. You know, it was a little bit of a dare, but it's a blind date, and I met him online on one of them dating apps. And look at me, my millennial self, my 90s millennial self. Ain't no app. Dating websites on the internet. They didn't have dating apps at this time. But yes, okay, she said, her, Tony, and Lynn, they had a little dare or whatever, and they looked up to find some dates on the internet from them sites. And William continues to crack on her, and it's like, ain't that for lonely, desperate, ugly women? Maya tells her, oh hell no, oh hell no. And Joan tell him, oh, that's funny. That's real funny. Because did I not see a profile of you on blackstuds.com? Tisk, clocked. And he tried to throw it out, play it off, and talking about he a man in search of truly desperate women. Well, honey, that is more desperate than anything. Maya pop-ups talking about 1 in 4 internet hookups end in homicide. Child, that is a reasonable concern. And she said, don't you people read Black Detective magazine? Now, look, you can't get too wrapped up in that stuff. No, don't get me wrong. It's information that is needed because it's real. Real stories that need to be told and need to be taken into consideration. Howsoever, if you consume too much of that stuff, you consume too much of anything. It is not and can't be a good thing because you end up becoming too consumed, too wrapped up in it. Then you get paranoid and carrying on. Honey, that's why I had to stop watching Snaps. But Joan is not taking her serious. She joking at her. And William just says, okay, look, for her safety's sake, me and Maya gonna come with you. And John is like, Lynn and Tony, they already gonna be there. You ain't gotta worry about that. And Maya said, baby, Lynn and Tony, baby, might as well draw your chalk outline right now. Now, I must do say, I gotta agree with your girl. Because you know, Lynn and Tony's antennas be all over the place. Not to mention, Joan is they mama. They ain't got no, you know what I'm saying, concept of looking out for Joan. Because they are excessively comfortable and Joan looking out for them. Now, we flash on over to the next scene where they are linking up at 8:47. There is Clay. Clay is his name? No. What's his name? Davis. The light-skinned dude that owns the restaurant. That's always talking about you women, you women, you women. Child, I cannot think his name right now, but I think his name is Davis. He be getting on my nerves. But anywho, they get to his restaurant to meet their dates. They walk in, you know, they standing all in the doorway commiserating and whatnot, you know, trying to get their lives in order, looking around, trying to make sure they don't get caught off guard, trying to see if they can, you know, scope out their date real quick. William is like, is everybody clear on the hand signals? Right hand if she want to leave early, left hand if she want to stay. And Maya gonna say, what hands you gonna be waving when he cuts both of the hands off? Girl. And me and John on the same page, because honey, we finna cancel your subscription to the Black Detective, okay? You got too much going on. But old boy walks off. His name is Davis, at least for now. And he tells him that their table is ready. They gone on in. William and Maya gone on over to their table. Then Tony and Lynn walk in. And they start commiserating with Joan. and asking, are they there yet? No. Are they there yet? No. Are they there yet? No. Yes, his name is Davis, y'all. His name is Davis. I'm watching it again as I go. But Joan calls over to Davis and asks him if anybody has been looking for them because they waiting on some people. Davis gonna say, y'all women kill me. Just say you're meeting a man and don't try to downplay it. Goodness. Is there anything wrong with the men? And Joan is saying, no, it's just that we don't really know them because, and she's stuttering and whatnot. And Lynn just pop out and say, look, we met him on the internet. And Davis is like, oh, that's desperate. Listen, sir, listen. Just tell us if you've seen somebody, okay? Goodness. He's gonna say, don't go downloading any viruses. Now that's funny. I ain't gonna lie, that's funny. And Tony say, baby, I know ain't nothing wrong with my man because I met him on ebonymillionaires.com. So ain't nothing wrong with him either way for her because she, he got what she want. The monies, the accolades, the assets. She ain't worried. She is in his skin and grinning from ear to ear. Titties boosted. She look good, honey. She look good. She like he got a beach house in Maui and he drives a Lamborghini. Did you hear me? Lamborghini. Davis gonna say, well, I hope that's not code speak for bus pass. Sir, let me take a page out of Davis's book against Davis. You men. Y'all love to hate on the next man even when you ain't seen him. If you a hater, just say that. Is there something wrong with you? Is it that you mad? Because these women in your face almost every day. Coming in, eat your food, pay, all that. In your face. Every day. And some men on the internet done scooped them before you was able to. Now granted, you know what I'm saying? You was almost there with Joan, but still. Almost doesn't count. But child, that low-key high-key cracks Tony's face and she just walks on over and has her a seat at the bar. But in the process, this big, tall, dark skin, kind of like fluffy yet a little muscular, you know what I'm saying? Not like fat, but not like slim, but not like muscular. You know what I'm saying? This well-rounded man. He walks in and Davis does his greeting, hey, welcome to 847. How may I help you? And all that. And he responds to Davis, thank you. I have a dinner reservation for 2 under the name Stokes. Davis like, Stokes. Joan is like, Marcus? This you? Okay, so this is Joan's date. And she says, okay, now we're all acquainted. Let's get the party started. Joan, please, calm down. Because she's just laughing and giggling and hee-heeing. And David's talking about, well, that's the first impression he won't forget. I would imagine so. But I mean, at least he know that she into him. And he seems to be turned on by it. Because he said, trust me, brother, I won't forget that. Like, okay? Like, she's showing her interest. Ain't that what men be wanting and everything? For you to show that you interested and caring on? They like a little nervous giggle. Okay, so Joan and Marcus, they walk on over to their table, and then we get a flash of Maya and William over at their table, lurking and carrying on. And Maya talking about, look at him. He got psycho killer written all over him. Then she gonna tell William, don't look. Girl, chill out. It's like, as much as Joan is excited, it's just as much as Maya is paranoid. So Davis takes their order, and he asks them, do they want something from the bar? And Marcus orders a watermelon martini, and Joan is talking about, ooh, that'll go good with the fried chicken. And she just starts laughing all weird and uncontrollably once again. And Marcus is looking like, and Davis is looking like unfortunate. Joan tries to explain her joke, and we like, girl, please, we get it. Just, don't. Please don't. So Davis says, well, Joan, you would have been a barrel of laughs down there at the plantation. Shut up, Davis. Why are you taking this order anyway? Where are the rest of your employees? But Marcus gonna say, listen, I got it, but I prefer ham hock fondue. Okay, he a little bit more bougie with it. So they have a laugh over there, and then we pan on over to Davis back at the bar with Lynn and Tony. Lynn asks him if he's seen a roster with a gold-plated chain on. And he like, no, I think I would have remembered that. And he asks Tony where her millionaire is. She said her millionaire fiance, okay? At least he will when she break out her heavy artillery, which is her titties. He's talking about hitting her with both barrels, huh? Absolutely. It's got to be both of them. You can't have one without the other. Bless your heart. And so we get a quick little flash over to Joan waving her hand at Maya and William, trying to tell them that basically she having a fine time on the date. She going to stay on the date. And Maya being weird, William like, you know what I'm saying? Listen. I think, you know what I'm saying? We being hyper vigilant, we overreacting, everything's fine. I mean, he could be just as straight as an arrow. You know what I'm saying? I can usually tell at a distance. And Maya said, look, way I see it, with Tiger kicking butt in golf, Venus and Serena cleaning up in tennis, black people might just be ready to take over another white person's sport. Serial killing. Maya, if you don't stop that ignorance, just ignorant. But child, we get flashed back on over to Joan and Marcus enjoying a date. And they talking about traveling, taking trips and carrying on. And we know that Joan done been to quite a few places. And she's been to Jamaica, Aruba, St. Thomas. Okay, girl, okay. And Marcus is like, okay, it seems like you've been everywhere that Sinbad's music festival has been. Y'all know Joan like that Sinbad music festival. She said, yeah, she hoping they go to Martinique next, child. And he said, baby, you could just go with me. Okay, and she is impressed, and I'm impressed too. Okay, he laying that thing on thick. But she said, I don't know you that well. That's a good point, girl. That's a good point. He said, yeah. Oh, okay, he got plans, honey. He see her in his future. Now, is that near or far? Either way, Joan talking about he done hit her G-spot. Girl. So, she tried to wave her hand again. Let Maya and William know that they can go. But they over here talking about serial killers. And William is explaining to Maya that it's a bunch of black serial killers. It's one in Atlanta. And Maya talking about, that's the CIA. You know that. Now, I don't know exactly what. There got to be like a real life happening that I'm just not aware of. Educate me if you can. All right? But Maya starts going into some other conspiracies. Some of them, you know what I'm saying? I'm with her own. I ain't gonna lie. Such as, you know what I'm saying, the whole bringing crack into the neighborhoods and setting up the gangs against each other when it's really, you know what I'm saying, governmental hits and things. But William is like, I never would have pegged you as one of them conspiracy nuts. I would. You know Maya likes to read and stuff, so I can see her going down that path. She wants to know everything about everything. And Maya say, honey, you better recognize before you end up in one of them Tuskegee experiments, baby. Girl. Okay. We see each other. Now, we kick back over to Joan steady waving her hand, looking like a fool. And Marcus peeped what she doing. And he said, look, it'll be easier if you just go on over there and tell them that you okay and you want to stay. And John's talking about, well, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And he looked at her like, come on now. And she said, how did you know? And he said, look, I brought back up too. It's all good. You know, I didn't know if he was going to turn out to be crazy or nothing. And then right behind him, this whole squad of big burly dudes get up. Goodness gracious, you thought you was going to need all them fellas for her? Who you thought you was going on a date with a Swedish woman named Helga? Goodness. No offense to no Swedish people. I just, that's a stereotype. I'm sorry. But child, Joan is also like, baby, how crazy did you think I'd be? How big did you think she'd be? That's what I'm saying. Golly, you thought you was going on a date with She-Hulk? Gosh, I mean, Joan is crazy, but you ain't need the whole damn football team. Claude, have mercy. Nah. We get back over to Tony and Lynn sitting at the bar. And Tony's date walk in, and he like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. I didn't trust the valet with my Lamborghini and everything. And Tony is looking like, you know what I'm saying? She looking unimpressed. She looking upset or whatever. And just hold that thought. So, Lynn introduces herself, and then she heads on out. And he said, okay, so, well, first of all, she introduces herself as one of the bridesmaids for when they get married. And so he said, oh, okay, so do you want to stay here and have dinner, or should we go pick out China patterns? So, I mean, it's clear that he's feeling her. He in a well-tailored, clean-ass suit. He look good. He could use some facial hair, in my opinion. But she look good. I mean, he look good. Tony being rude, rolling her eyes and carrying on, talking about, look, can we just get a drink? Because I'm actually in a hurry. Anywho, so Lynn walks on back over to Davis, and it's like, bro, I cannot believe I have been stood up. Like, the fuck? The nerve of this gold-plated Eagle roster man. And Davis is like, yeah, I know, right? Usually they're so dependable. Lynn's standing up there looking stupid, but I mean, girl, yeah, you might want to, connect the dots on the red flags, honey. I mean, they right there in your face, shawty. But, of course, she kind of wouldn't do that because there's some weirdo shit, and Lynn is a weirdo, so she's seeing herself, she's there, so I guess she would expect he'd be there too, but tisk. But baby, we get back on over to Maya and William, and she's telling him she heard in Vegas people slip things in your drink. Now, baby, don't they do that in California too? They kind of do that everywhere. She think that shit, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, but she said they slip stuff in your drink, and then you wake up in a bathtub full of ice cubes, missing a lung and a kidney. Damn, girl. Organ kidnapping and selling and trafficking and that's terrible. But yeah, I think they do that in California too, so I don't think that's just a Vegas thing, But I get what she's saying. You guys to be careful out here. And William is saying, well, look, I guess I'm fortunate that I just woke up without my wallet in my pants. Now, William, what the hell you been out here doing, honey? Now, later that night, they back at John's house, and Joan is in the bathroom, freshening up, getting ready or whatever, and the rest of the girls are in her room all laid out, you know what I'm saying? Just doing their little girlfriend thing. And Joan comes out and she's like, okay, Marcus gonna be here any second. How do my lips look? And Maya said, all you need is a color that pops, so it'll be easy to find her severed head. Girl. Please. And Joan says, well, if he kills me, at least I'll die knowing I had 2 dates in one day. Joan, no ma'am. But they all like, woohoo, woohoo. Girl, Tony takes a moment to shade her walls in the room, the color of them. I'm like, Tony, are you being a hater, girl? Because Joan is enjoying her dates and stuff, and you being nutty boo over yours. Anywho, she's talking about, before you painted these walls yellow, honey, you should have called me. And I kind of like the walls. I like the color yellow that she got on the walls. She needs some wall decor, but the color not that bad. You know what I'm saying? It's also kind of happy. But Tony's talking about, I would have told you that periwinkle is the new beige of the millennium, honey. Girl, shut up. Don't nobody want that. You paint your walls dead. Anywho, Maya's like, I like the color of the walls. Tony gonna say, what you also like Destiny's Child. Baby, everybody likes Destiny's Child. The fuck? So Maya said, don't even start with me, Miss Celine Dion. Baby, you out here listening to Celine Dion? Now, ain't nothing wrong with a little Celine Dion. But if you like Celine Dion, then you ought to like Destiny's Child. I don't understand. You just trying to be whitewashed and carrying on. Bless your heart, Miss Tony. Now, Leah stressed on in all peppy and shit, talking about her gold-plated ego Rasta man had a good reason for standing her up. His parole was denied. Lynn. Joan is like, baby, the man is in prison. She's talking about, yeah, but so is Mandela. Girl, every black man that is in court, goes to prison, is not Nelson Mandela. Huey keeps trying to tell y'all, Huey Freeman that is, from Boondocks. He keeps trying to let the people know that every black man in a legal situation is not Nelson Mandela. Stop the madness. Please. Joan said, baby, what did he do? He said he led the fight against the apartheid. Baby, no, not Mandela, honey. Your dates. What did your date do? Lynn said he committed grand theft auto. Lynn, are you fucking Catalina? If you know, you know, okay? If you know, you know. But Lynn out here trying to be Catalina. We're going to pray for her. But we just going, you know what I'm saying, let her be her real quick, because Joan steps on over to the next subject and asks Tony how her date went with Dale. And here's where we get into the madness. So, Tony says that her and Dale did not work out. And they surprised because they like, the man is rich. Like, what else, you know what I'm saying, could you want? Rich, rich, rich. Win, win, win. What's good? She's like, he just didn't do it for me. Okay. And Joan is like, what happened? She was like, he too black. And they mean, you mean ghetto, right? No, she means his skin tone. Black. He's too dark skinned. And Maya tells her, well, baby, you ain't light bright your damn self. Child, we gotta send some prayers up for Tony as well, because the self-hate has jumped out galore. And it's understandable as to how she, you know what I'm saying, has gotten there. But this is not okay. As Joan says, baby, I thought you got over that Elder Barge phase once Wesley Snipes hit the scene. Tony gonna deflect on her. I just like what I like. No, you don't like yourself, and that is the problem. That is what's standing out here. And Lynn is like, baby, we all come in different shapes, sizes, shades, and colors and everything. That's what keeps the white man confused. I heard that. But Tony tells her that's either for her to say because you light skin and you have black. She said, okay, well, half of me is pissed off. And again, like, I have an understanding of what Tony is saying. It's just unfortunate, honey. It's unfortunate because, like, now, I'm not dark skinned, so I don't understand what it's like to experience colorism like something about. So I can't act like the road to self-love in that case would just be this easy peasy lemon squeezy thing. But girl, if you know what I'm saying, you want happiness of any sort, you know, regardless of who's in your life, if you want to be happy, at any rate, you got to maintain your will to love yourself. That's the only way you're going to be able to attract people who genuinely love you, first of all, let alone have anything to give that is of value, you know? Tisk. But they clocking Tony on her, you know, self-hating issues that she having going on. And Maya's like, baby, did the whole Black is Beautiful movement just skip past you? What is going on? And Joan cuts him off and is like, look, if you want to reach Tony, you got to speak to Tony in Tony terms. So, she turns to Tony. There are this many available multi-millionaires. And then there are this many, in a lesser amount, that is, black multi-millionaires. Okay? And there are this many, in a lesser value, light-skinned multi-millionaires. That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder what the statistics are now on that. That just got me to thinking a bunch of questions, but I'm going to save them. But yeah, she said there are this many, in a lesser value, light-skinned multi-millionaires. Okay? So that leaves this many, in an even lesser value, that are going to put up with your crap. Period. And Tony told me all I need is one. But what I don't need is a lecture from the Rainbow Coalition. Girl, you need all the lectures you can get. Okay? And the girls are over her. All the way over her. But we cut to the next day, the next scene, back at the ranch, back at the office with Joan, Maya, and William. William comes into Joan's office this time, telling her that she has a lunch date with Tony the next day. Where does she want to go? And Joan is like, it's all good, it don't really matter. And Maya says, well, I guess Cajun is out of the question since the heifer doesn't want anything blackened. I cannot. But Maya, you know what I'm saying, she takes that and then she's like, okay, y'all need to wrap this up because you got another death date tonight with the serial killer. And William says, oh, okay. You got another date with Marcus. And he's like, it's not that I think that he's a killer or anything, but do you? And she says, no, honey, I don't think that. But he is a little bit too good to be true. Like, come on. He had to get online to date. And he like, you went online? She said, but I'm normal. And he said, baby, as a friend, I can tell you are not normal. And she said, look, the point is, on the surface, he's fine. And Maya says, under the surface, Joan. Usually in the crawl space where they find the bodies. Girl. Please. But so, we didn't cut out of that scene. And we gone back over to, this is Marcus's place that we at now. Come on back over to Marcus's place. And Joan is being not so normal. She look good though in her, her business attire. She look good. And she rubbing all over his stuff. He got good taste, good texture, good linen, baby. And she starts going through his stuff. She looking at his CDs, looking at his books. He got some Macy Gray and Cold Train. I'm here for it. Oh, he got one of them stereos that most of it we used to have, but we still got it. It just sits outside in the garage door now. In the garage. But yeah, one of them old silver stereos with like the little knobs and shit. But in the midst of her going through his stuff, she tripped over her feet and she peeks up under his bed and she pulls out a girdle, a big old girdle. They started playing the psycho thing. But honey, Marcus walks in the midst of her, doing her little weird thing. And he like, what are you doing? Why are you in here? And she's like, she's looking for the bathroom. And he said, on the floor? You looking for the bathroom on the floor? Make it make sense. And he like, what's that you have behind your back? What is all this? Fat child, she pulls it out. And she like, what is up with this girdle? Who's this for? He said, baby, it's mine. And I wear it. She said, well, now that I know what a bathroom is, I'm going to go there. Joan, oh, bless your heart, honey. So, baby, the next scene, Maya and William at the headquarters, okay? And Maya is concerned because she basically ain't heard from Joan since she went over to Marcus's house the night before. And she's talking about Joan is 15 minutes and 8 seconds late for her shift. So, she's been sitting up there worried, sick, for 15 minutes and 8 seconds. And William says to her that just because people have a hard time finding dates and they end up turning to the internet doesn't mean that they are dangerous. Stop passing judgment. Stop being so hypercritical. He like, it's just hard sometimes to find that special someone. She said, look, no one responded to his desperate.com ad. Now, did they? Because, William got one of them accounts, too. And he like, see, that's where you're wrong because somebody did respond and her name is Yvonne Bars. And Maya says, look, you don't know nothing about this woman. He said, look, she likes to travel. And she like, okay, and how many aliases she got? These crazy people love to have a bunch of aliases, I'm sure. And he says, look, she works in a garden. She says she digging shallow graves. He says she's a writer. He says she was a Unabomber. I think that's what they call them, the people that write on bombs. That reminds me of Soul Plane. Snoop's character, he said he wrote on bombs. Saddam eat a dick or some shit like that. I cannot. Yeah, I cannot. But John walks in. She said, good morning, William. Maya, meet me in the office. Now, look. Maya talking about for a woman that just cheated death. I'm sure she's in a bad mood. But, honey, they get up in her office, and Joan is like, look, I found out what's wrong with Marcus. He wears a body shaper. She said, girl, a girdle? She said, girl, get PC. It's a body shaper now. They call them body shapers. She said he's killing women and stealing their girdles. Girl, no. Maya said, you know what this means, girl? She finally get an article in the Black Detective magazine. Excuse her for a living. Ma'am, you got to stop the madness. But the next morning, they walking back into work, or is this the next morning or just later that day? Either way, they walking back into the office and everything. Maya's talking about this man was looking at her titties while they was up in the elevator, and John is like, of course, with that shirt on, I was looking too, baby. The fuck? I think that's John's friendly way of telling her, you need to wear something more appropriate to work, ma'am. John walks on up in her office, though, and Marcus is sitting in her damn desk. Baby, now that is creepy. One way or another, that is creepy. But I'm just going to give him a little taste of grace because John was all up in his room, going through his stuff, being weird, and he didn't know. So I'm sure he was startled when he walked up in his room and saw her too. But what she sees in him in this moment is this thick, very busty, very hippie, masculine woman with a Jason mask on. John, pull it together. But at the same time, I don't blame her because this is creepy. And she tells him, I have mace. He says, I have hips. I'm like, what? He said, I wear the body shaper because I have hips. And he stands up and he shows them hips, honey. Your boy is thicker than a snicker. Then we get a back shot. And baby, he also got that ass. Not only does he have hips, but he also has that ass. He get it from his mama. Where he get that ass from? He get it from his mama, Tisk. And Joan in her mind is screaming for dear life, and then she actually screams on the outside in his face as well. Honey, bless his heart. Look, he don't deserve this, you know. People be shaped how they shaped, and hips and thighs and ass, they ain't just for women, you know. People have hips and thighs and ass. I mean, he's a large set man. It wouldn't really make much sense for him not to have hips and thighs and a little ass. You know what I'm saying? He got to be proportionate. Now, granted, he is thick. Thick. Okay. But I ain't gonna lie. Okay. Maybe he should work out more so that, you know, things will like make sense in the sense of it's muscle, you know, as opposed to imagining him as a big, thick, voluptuous lady man. Oh man, prayers up for the thick guys. Prayers up for the thick guys, because I know shit be a little difficult for y'all. Guys to be. But Joan gets back home with the girls having a good old laugh about the whole situation. She said, honey, I did not see those hips coming. They say he need one of them wide load signs that they have on the trucks on the freeway. Disrespect. Maya talking about he need one on his ass that say, damn. Nah, he do, for real. And Tony walks in, and John is like, baby, you should have seen it. Like, it was like a human eclipse. Nah, for real. Your boy had that ass. And Tony's like, if you're pardon my expression, aren't you the pot calling the kettle black? She like, how is you dropping Marcus because of his hips any different from me dropping Dale? Maya talking about, ooh, oh, here we come. Here we go. Roots, the next generation. I cannot. Please stop the madness. But John is like, Tony, there is a world of a difference between hips and self-hatred. Tony's talking about self-hatred. What you mean? That's ridiculous. No one loves themselves more than I do. Girl, you got some misconceptions about that, but okay. And she says, John, maybe your problem with Marcus is self-hatred because let's face it, you's a little hippie yourself. That she is. John talking about, I am not hippie. A little shallow, but not hippie. Tony says, you're phony. Bars. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Tony got, you know what I'm saying, a little piece of a point because you are hippie girl. And like I said, hips and ass ain't just for women. People have hips and ass. Some people don't have a whole lot of hips and ass, and some people do. You know what I'm saying? It's men out here with more hips and ass than I do. So it's not just a woman thing. But John says you got me misconstrued because I didn't say that I wasn't gonna date him. And I'm not talking about him like a dog like you did, okay? I have every intention of continuing to see Marcus and his hips. Nah. And so we do a quick transition to the next scene where she is in fact on a date with Marcus and his hips. She's smiling, grinning his skin and all in his face. He's saying, girl, I want to tell you what you mean to me. Our relationship is very special and I'm glad you can get around my hips. She said it's a hike. Now she says that in her mind, that it's a hike getting around his hips. but she trying. I cannot. She said, Marcus, I'm fine. We fine. He said, I'm glad. And she looked at the menu. She said tonight's special is fish and hips. Girl. Freudian slip. He said, girl, it's okay. I can handle the word hips. She said, well, hip, hip, hooray. He said, baby, you're twisted. That she is. She is nutty boo. He got hips, but she is a trip. So, Joan walks up. I mean, not Joan, honey. Tony walks up, speaks. Looks like she got some takeout. Look like she got a little piece of salad. You know what I'm saying? And she looking real cute and shit. And Marcus then excuses himself. I would assume he's going to the bathroom or something, but, you know, he excuses himself. He gets up, looks as though he doesn't have his girdle on, you know what I'm saying? He's out, you know, trying to be himself, come as he is and everything. And Tony is looking at him, clutching her pearls, about to burst into confetti, trying her hardest not to bust out laughing at this man and all of his cakes. And Joan said, baby, please don't say nothing. And what are you doing here anyway? She said, look, I got to eat. No man, no stove equals takeout. It be like that sometimes. She said, well, listen, you had a man, you had a stove, and you turned the gas off on both of them, huh? And Tony says, baby, look, you think you know me, but you don't. I don't hate myself. You just don't know what it takes to be this stunning. And Joan is like, well, what the fuck am I, a chopped liver? The dog face girl? What is it giving? And she said, no, you're the lighter skinned girl. You don't have to do what I have to do to compete. This comes from eating salads and taking Tabo 5 times a week, and this hair compliments of the Koreans on Crenshaw. And the only reason I'm not darker is because I dodged the sun. Baby, Now she been listening to Gilbert Bryant over there on Real Housewives of Potomac. The key to this pretty face is staying in the shade. Get that self-hate out of here. Oh, gosh. But I appreciate this conversation being had on this episode and between the two of them specifically as well, because it is a real conversation. It is some shit that really needed to be said and addressed, and it also adds layers to the way that Tony interacts with Joan, and maybe even some of the way that Joan interacts with Tony. But we'll tap into that once I get into like my final thoughts on everything. But Joan tells her, you're the woman that uses her beauty to get what you want, and you don't think that you're beautiful for real? Like, what is it giving? That is deep. And Tony says, baby, just because I have superficial values does not mean I am not deep. I just know I'm in the market for a husband, and to secure my financial needs and desires, I'm gonna have to give him a couple kids. And she is afraid, essentially, that if she and Dale were to have a kid, a daughter specifically, that the little girl would come out even darker. And Joan is like, baby, she would be beautiful, just like you. As like, black is beautiful, honey. And her and Dale both got some beautiful skin. And it's just a shame that a lot of the world does not believe so. And they pour so much self-hate into dark-skinned people that, you know, go through life with all of these fears and just, you know, tragic. But with that said, Tony is concerned that people will be saying to her, oh, you're beautiful for a dark-skinned girl, which people definitely do that, or calling her tar baby or skillet. And Joan is defensive because she's like, baby, we were in home ec, and I told you to hand me the skillet. She said, you said, hand me the skillet. And Joan said, no, ma'am, I didn't think that you heard me. So I repeated the word skillet. You got this thing all twisted up. You making too much about all this. It ain't even about nothing. And Tony says, okay, well, explain the time that you called me tar baby. Joan gonna say, well, you called me bug eyes first. Now, Joan, I got to clock and get on you right quick, right fast, sir. I got to clock and get on you right quick, right fast. Because calling her tar baby is not equivalent to her calling you bug eyes. And baby, your eyes is bug. Like, what you mean? But Joan does apologize to her. And Tony says, okay, maybe I do got some issues. And Joan said, baby, it ain't maybe. It's how many. And she says, maybe I shouldn't worry about my kids, because I'm starting to think that maybe I don't even want any. And Joan's like, oh, baby, don't say that, you know. After a little therapy, you might see things differently. And she's like, oh, no, it ain't all of that. I just don't want to end up with hips like your man. Because, honey, he look like he could carry about 6 of them boys with them big old hips, honey. Woo! Claude, have mercy. Now, we are wrapping up the episode with this final scene in 847 Davis's restaurant. And Davis is at a table with Maya, having a conspiracy convo with her. And Maya is telling him, Tupac ain't dead. He just in Cuba, working on his music. That's the age-old theory on Tupac, honey. That's the age-old theory. And And David said, look, well, Biggie Smalls ain't dead either. He in my kitchen working as a sous chef. Well, baby, I hope he flicking that wrist real good. But Maya rolled her eyes, and we flashed on over to William, and he's on a date with Yvonne. So I guess Davis and Maya are playing, what's that, wingman or whatever? Not wingman, but the chaperone. They playing chaperone for William while he on his date because, the concern that people be crazy, women be shopping. But nah, they flash on over to him and Yvonne, and we pick up in like the middle of their conversation, and Yvonne is telling him, now child, when I was looking at your profile, I was thinking, damn, this brother could be a serial killer. Like in Silence of the Lamb. By the way, you don't have a well in your basement, do you? William say, no. She said, child, you'd be surprised how many crazy people are out here on the street. And William says, and in restaurants. And she busts out laughing. And then she gets serious on him. She said, what that post mean? You trying to talk about me? He said, no, nothing. No. She said, I know you are not trying to talk about me. And then he like waving his hand, trying to get a signal that, you know what I'm saying? He kind of like want to get out of the situation. He's uncomfortable. And she peeped him doing that. He looking over to the side at Maya. She said, you better not be trying to pick up another woman up in here because I cut a man. Period. So he just kind of panicked and just started waving and flailing his arms behind him. Maya and Davis are in the depths of their conspiracy convo, and they ain't studying him. But the episode goes off, and now we get into my thoughts. Now, this is not necessarily one of my favorite episodes. It's not a bad episode. It just don't do it for me like a lot of other episodes. But like I said before, it's a necessary episode with a necessary convo, quite a few necessary convos. So, first things first, I want to tap into Maya and her conspiracies and concerns. I feel like, again, balance and moderation is key. Because you want to indulge in a lot of different content, right? You want to know what they're talking about on the local news. You want to know what they're talking about on the world news. You want to know what they're talking about on urban news, black folks news, white folks news. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a little bit of something of everything to bring it all together and help it make sense. Similar to religion and spiritualities. You don't have to practice all of it. You don't have to follow all of it. But just having knowledge. But like I said, moderation is key because too much of anything is not good for you. And there are truths and lies in all of the different avenues. You know what I'm saying? There are some conspiracy theories that make sense, that are kind of proven, especially like in this day and age. Some conspiracy theories have actually been proven to be true. But then there are others that are just ridiculous, and some that I feel like are orchestrated, that people, make up in their minds as a coping mechanism because the truth is not easy for them to deal with. So they have to make it something else in order to satisfy them. So for instance, the Tupac conspiracy theory. People don't want to accept that he gone. So it's easier to make up in their mind that he just somewhere else. Working on music or whatever, doing whatever, living a better life. He faked his death. He just wanted to go find peace. It's easier for them to do that. And sometimes people would do that if they come from, so like speaking specifically, Tupac was killed as a result of gun violence. So people from the hood, they see this person from the hood make it. And so in their minds, they thinking like, okay, he done made it. He done accomplished all these things, especially at a young age. He got money, he got fame, he got da-da-da-da. Ain't no way he could get killed where he is now, like the same way that he could back in the hood. But then he fucks around and does. Like, he gets killed on some drive-by shit. So that type of, like, witnessing that type of thing, having knowledge of that type of thing, that somebody from your hood or the hood, like somebody, you got hopes that you can get out. And when you get to where you going, your accomplishments and everything, shit gonna be different. Ain't no way, no type shit could happen like that to you. But it fucks around and it does. Because people see other people experience things and they're like, damn, if it happens for them, it can happen for me. Like, whether it's good or bad. And so that's the thing that happens with victim blaming as well. That can also be a reason why people victim blame, because they know if one person or this group of people can be abused, then they can also be abused too. So they make up in their mind, nah, you was lying, you wanted that to happen, you did this, you did that, because they're trying to separate themselves from the possibility, because that's something that they don't want to happen. You feel me? Okay, so yeah, all that to say, it's my theory, if you will, that that's a part of the reason why certain people came up with the theory about Tupac not really being dead. He just in Cuba. Because they would rather him get to that level where he can fake his death and just go wherever and have peace and happily ever after, as opposed to he made it past 18, he made it past 21, he made it out the hood, he got rich, he got famous, and then he died the same way that he could have died in the hood, and make them think like, damn, well, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? And if people want to hold on to hope, they don't want to accept that that's a possibility. Much like Joan not really taking Maya serious when it comes to the conspiracy theory type shit. Because the level of that for Joan in particular is she wants to keep hope alive that she can find her happily ever after with a man that loves and cherishes her and will be everything that she wants them to be. And so she doesn't want to accept that it's a possibility that they could be a serial killer. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is a possibility. You know what I'm saying? God forbid. Be careful, you know what I'm saying? Be as careful as you possibly can be. But it is a possibility because, child, you just never know. You end up out here like, who the fuck did I marry? Like, yeah, prayers up. But at the same time, you don't want to get consumed by that shit, because then you end up blocking yourself. You end up blocking yourself from, indulging in the possibilities that you can achieve what it is that you want. Especially if you're looking at every person like, damn, are you a serial killer? Are you a serial killer? Are you a serial killer? It's the same way with cheating. Are you a cheater? You going through their phone. You want to go through their stuff and this and that. And it's like, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to get to know them for who they are, because you so focused on trying to prove that they are what you're afraid of, or prove that they're not what you're afraid of. And either way, again, you end up distracting yourself from whoever they are, because who you want them to be and who you're afraid of them being, they might not be either. And that's also a possibility. Tisk. Now, we ain't gonna stay too long on here because she didn't really have much to do this episode. It's just like, girl, every black man that end up in a legal situation is not Martin Luther King, is not Malcolm X, is not Nelson Mandela, honey. And her gold-plated Eagle Rasta man certainly was not. He was CJ from San Andreas. Baby, got to be more careful, like, honey. We know you can't worry too much about Lynn, because Lynn gonna be Lynn, doing Lynn things. But we out here worried about Marcus and his hips. And somebody needed to have been looking out for Lynn over there, running around with this man. Well, he was in jail, so I guess God protected her. God and the legal system in this case protected her from CJ from San Andreas. Because, baby, what if they did link up? He probably would have robbed her and all her friends. And he would have hit up Joan real smooth. Cleared her whole house out. Now, let's get into Joan and these hips. Gonna get her out of the way, because I done kind of already tapped into her. Because, as I said before, the man got hips. He just got hips, baby. He got hips. He got thighs running through his DNA. Okay, he can't help that. But like I said, he can get in the gym, you know what I'm saying? And just make it all make sense. Because you're just looking real fluffy. I'm like, not to body shame or nothing, but if he was just that uncomfortable about it, shape it up. Shape it up, get in the gym, do your squats, do your bench presses, your cardio. And child, you might can take some inches off of them hips and thighs and ass and all of that. Just take a few inches off, okay? But also, child, you want to wear your girdle, you want to wear your body shaper, baby, wear your body shaper. But if you just want to bust it all out and say, baby, get these hips, get these thighs, do your thing. Do your thing. Because if these girls can walk around here with the ass out, all willy-nilly, all different types of ways, hell, if Saucy Santana can walk around here poking, no joking, like talking about, do your thing. Do your thing. His hips shouldn't be no deal breaker, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, his hips could be indication that he's a back breaker. You know what I'm saying? He got that base. He got that foundation. He can hold you up. He can pelvic thrust, okay? As long as everything is proportionate in the right ways, because it'd be a shame if he had all them assets, but nothing, you know what I'm saying, going on in the front, around the corner. You catching my drift? Now that would be a deal breaker. Ain't no way you walking around here with all them assets and you ain't got the main one. But child, body positivity all the way. And child, if Joan ain't want him, I'm sure somebody would love to have him. Now, to the main event. Tony and this man, who she said was too black. This is a very common conversation of her more so being concerned about the kids aspect. So we get it basically revealed to us that not only does Tony kind of have like some self-hate issues, but it's also in the nature of her wanting to have lighter skinned kids. And this also solidifies how Tony must feel amongst the friend group, especially being the fact that before Maya got there, her main two friends were Joan and Lynn, who are both light skinned, and Lynn in particular is biracial. And you hear her say to them multiple times, like, it's easy for you to say because you're light skinned. It's easy for you to say because you're light skinned. In which there's truth to that. It's easy to say, oh, Tony, you're beautiful. You need to love yourself. Da 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 da. This is what you need to do. But it's not easy for Tony to take that from them because they don't know her struggle. So you can't feel her. You don't know what she done been through. And then not to mention, we got to get her some extra grace too in a way, because apparently Joan has said some things that were ultimately not okay and adding to the problem. Specifically when we talk about her calling Tony tar baby in response to Tony calling her bug eyes. Now, y'all heard me say that is not equivalent because you calling her tar baby is a known derogatory term and it is an insult to her skin tone. Only specific types of people have dark skin, but a multitude of different types of people can have bug eyes. So that's fucked up. And Joan, kind of had to sit in that and take accountability, like, I'm sorry, damn, my bad. And that adds validity to what Tony was saying. Like, it's easy for you to say this, it's easy for you to say that, because Joan had been going all this time, not even realizing that outside of you just being you done actually said and did some shit that's on some toxic light skin shit. That's fucked up. Why you say that to her? Because she called you bug eyes. You couldn't think of nothing else to say about her? And to me, that reveals something about Joan. Because, like, it's very clear that Joan can see Tony's beauty, So is it that you really think that she's so beautiful, the only thing you felt like would hurt her is about saying something about her skin tone? But she apologized and all that. I'm gonna leave it at that unless, we get to the rest of these episodes and I see something else. But that's just indication of them having an awareness, some sort of awareness of colorism in a way, but to an extent, because you've mindlessly done and said something that has, like, contributed to her struggle being a person that experiences colorism in the world, let alone in California and in the dating pool. And I honestly wish that at some point Tony could have had, I'm sorry if y'all hear a bunch of stuff in the background. The struggle be real trying to find somewhere quiet. I can go somewhere quiet, and then as soon as I get there and start recording, a bunch of hoopla starts going on in the fucking background that I just cannot control. But yeah, I wish that at some point we could have seen Tony have some friendly interaction with at least one other dark-skinned woman like herself, like the same skin tone, the same, kind of disposition, if you will, and they actually be friendly with each other. Because I feel like other dark-skinned women that we saw her interact with, we didn't see her interact with many, first of all, but other dark-skinned women that we did see her interact with, it was kind of like not friendly, And that's something else to unpack. But we'll save that for another time. Now, while Tony's pain and issues and all of that are understandable and definitely real and definitely common for a lot of dark-skinned people, dark-skinned women in particular, the way she treated that man was definitely not okay, because at that rate, you're becoming what you despise. You're doing to him what people have done to you. And this man, and granted, it wouldn't have been right either way if he had had the same energy with her. But my point is, this dark-skinned man approached you and didn't give you none of that. So you literally fucked around and attracted somebody that was willing to fuck with you exactly as you are, exactly as you look, exactly how you coming and all that. And because you having issues with yourself, you're not able to receive that. And that's the epitome of you can't love nobody if you don't love yourself. You can't even embrace the love that somebody is trying to give you if you don't love yourself. Because, child, that was absolutely crazy. And then her concerns about, you know what I'm saying, she want to have light-skinned kids. And again, it's understandable, like, where that comes from, because the shit fucks people's heads up. Even light-skinned people. Not saying, please believe, I'm not saying that light-skinned people experience colorism. I'm saying that colorism and the benefits that light-skinned people reap from colorism makes a lot of light-skinned people delusional. That's what I'm saying. A lot of light-skinned people who get comfortable in the self-hate, because, you know, seeing so much of a benefit and getting comfortable so much in the benefit of colorism on the light-skinned end is also a form of self-hate, because you still black. You just light-skinned. So you hate where you come from. That means you hate yourself too. And you think that you better just because you light-skinned, and that is delusional. So essentially you end up living a lie in more ways than one, and having drastic issues with accountability and hearing criticism. Real Housewives of Potomac, Tisk, okay? The lots of the issues going on over there with the yellow bone bandits of it all. Delulu, and miserable and self-hating. All that to say, just because you have light-skinned kids doesn't mean that that's going to be the end of your colorism issue. Because even still, granted, it's different, but you still have people that will look at you as a dark-skinned woman that has light-skinned kids and say fucked up shit surrounding that. Oh, ain't no way that could be your kid. Ain't no way that could be your kid. Her daddy must be white. You must have da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? They still have something to say. And then if your kid experiences the, you know, quote-unquote benefits of, and I say quote-unquote because when you get to the nitty-gritty of everything, it's a benefit moment to moment. But for the collective and for each individual, it's really not a benefit, because, again, it's all rooted in self-hate. And if you don't love yourself for real and you don't love where you come from, you're not going to be able to embrace any good around you, any love around you for real, for real. You're not going to be able to welcome no love in. So, again, that's why I said quote-unquote benefit, because it's not. Once you get to the end, once you get to that finish line, it's not really a benefit. You're going to get in the door, but then how you going to use what you got? You know what I'm saying? How you going to maintain what you got? And it's not impossible for a dark-skinned woman or dark-skinned women to come up and surpass you with their skills. Real Housewives of Potomac. That's why you mad. That's why you mad, A, because you didn't expect that these dark-skinned women could be able to accomplish what you felt like you were supposed to accomplish just being light-skinned. Interesting. So, yeah, your kid, light-skinned, grows up thinking that they can just accomplish everything being light-skinned. Or even that they can shit on you because they light-skinned and you dark-skinned. Now you got a whole nother issue on your hand. Okay, so again, just because you a dark-skinned woman and you had light-skinned kids, it's not going to end the struggle. It's not going to fix everything. Because, too, you could end up having, like, envy or jealousy issues of your light-skinned kid because you feel like they getting benefits that you didn't get to get. You haven't been able to get. Are not getting. And it don't just apply in that case as it concerns light skin and dark skin either. It's a lot of people around here jealous of their kids based on, like, okay, let's say the parents grew up in the segregated South. You know what I'm saying? Racism, hella lynching and shit like that. It's people that got kids and grandkids and shit like that they jealous of for benefiting off of all of the protests, boycottings, civil rights, all of that they fucking fought for. Jealous of their kids, their grandkids, and so on and so forth for having the privileges that they fought for them to have. So, again, it don't just automatically fix the problem. You have to fix the problem in you. Okay? So that's why I said it's understandable why she would feel the way she feels or somebody would feel the way that they feel. It's just that if you really want to be happy and you want to create and continue a cycle of happiness, you have to deal with you and unpack what's wrong with you. Outside of all of the physicalities, no matter you light skin, dark skin, short, tall, fat, wide, got big hips, you have to love yourself for who you are in spirit, because that's one of the main things that's going to be passed down. The more spiritual, personality, character, moral, values, aspects. Because what, your kid can come out light skin, but they fluffy. You know what I'm saying? They fluffy, or they got to wear glasses, or they got to get braces, or whatever. And you have to have an understanding. First of all, you got to allow yourself to go through a process of truly understanding what it's like to accept yourself and love yourself unconditionally in order to teach them that. Because regardless of what you say, they're going to follow your example. Okay? And you can only lead by example if you truly have the experience. Okay? Now, I hope that I said that appropriately, clearly, and all that, and that everybody can receive it with love. Because again, like, as a light-skinned person, I don't want to try to, like, I definitely can't shit on the reality of the dark-skinned woman's experience of colorism. But I can't speak from that experience. I can only understand it to an extent because I don't have that experience. So I just wanted to make sure, though, because it is an important conversation, that I give it the attention that it needs, and that I can offer the high vibrations, the love, the care, the compassion, and the truth that I do have to offer, with hopes that everybody can do with it the best of what they can do with it. Spreading the love, spreading the self-acceptance, unconditionally, okay? Phenomenal woman, phenomenally. Yes, God, and that's a perfect poem, too, for this situation. Shout out to Maya Angelou, okay? Tap into that poem, Phenomenal Woman, because she said everything that Tony, somebody like Tony probably would have needed to hear also, And then she's a dark-skinned black woman. So, hey. hey, okay? Yeah. Shout out to Maya Angelou. We love her. And once again, phenomenal woman. If you need some extra assistance, tap into that poem. I think it's a perfect poem for this particular topic. Now, with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah. But pause. Right quick, right fast though. Little bonus clip, little bonus insert. Speaking of questions and conversations, being the fact that I am a bit limited, being a light-skinned person for the Tony's position and the colorism conversation. If you are a dark-skinned woman that has, had the self-love struggles concerning colorism, and you have anything to offer concerning the journey that you went through and the process that you went through, getting yourself to, love yourself, or if you're a dark-skinned woman that hasn't ever really been consumed by the pitfalls of colorism, you just seem to always have it in you to be like, bitch, fuck you, you're ignorant, I'm beautiful, period. You know what I'm saying? If you have anything, any type of empowerment through your experience and all of that, feel free to drop it in the comments. All of us would love to hear it. All of us would love to see it. It's needed in the world and carrying on. And child, being the fact that this episode it's called Hip-Ocracy. It's about hypocrisy, which often does come from self-hate in general. We talked about Jones, quote unquote, self-hate, dealing with the hippie man, and she's a hippie woman herself. If you have anything to offer concerning your self-love journey, or unpacking and undoing self-hate of any kind, loving yourself unconditionally at any rate for any reason, drop it in the comments. We need it, honey, because society has a multitude, multi-dimensions, just hella shit out here that is designed to have us hate ourselves and do a bunch of crazy ass shit, desperate for whatever it is that we feel like we're deprived of. and end up, committing all types of self-harm and harming other people and carrying on. And we just need more examples and more out there to help us love ourselves unconditionally and help us also understand what that means and what the process can be like as well. Because again, it's easy to say, okay, you need to love yourself, you need to do this, you need to do that. But some of us need more details. Okay? Some of us need more examples. So yeah, drop it in the comments. Don't be shy. Go ahead and reply with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.